In this video, we're going to look at using lead sources to track ROI. There's a fairly popular John Wanamaker quote floating around the internet that states, "Half the money I spend on advertising is wasted. The trouble is I don't know which half." What he's referring to is his inability at the time to track which marketing assets were providing a return on investment. Fortunately, thanks to Infusionsoft, we can track the cost for different lead sources, which can be used for native ROI reporting right in the software. So in this video, we're going to look at the lead generation section of the software, creating a lead source, and then the associated expenses with it. So inside the software, we're going to hover over the navigation, and in the marketing section, we're going to go to lead generation. And in the lead sources section, we're going to create a lead source. So here's where we're going to give the lead source the name. So for example, let's say that we were running an ad in the Herald and local newspaper. We can go ahead and save this. And now once the page is reloaded, we can go ahead and click on our expenses tab here and then log the cost for this particular expense. So this is a one-time expense that we incurred today. And this is our Herald ad. And let's say we spent $250 on it, and then, is in the business section. Now you're going to see recent expenses down here. So the way that this works is when somebody has this lead source on their contact record as well as an order recorded, that'll populate in the ROI reports. And so these reports live here in the lead generation section, and we can look at return on investment by lead source. So we can see, for example, different lead sources with different expenses that brought in different revenue, and it'll give us built-in ROI numbers. You can also find these reports in our marketing reports. There is the lead source ROI and lead source by category as well. So that's another place to access those. Now, when a contact has a particular lead source, if we look at the expenses tab, it's going to give us an overview of the number of contacts as well as the cost per contact as well. So we can see here total expenses, one contact, cost per contact. It's also recommended to take full advantage of the category, vendor, and medium and the messaging content fields in the lead source, and this empowers better reporting and deeper insights. This is particularly helpful when we have different variations of marketing messages, as it allows us to quickly see which ones are performing best. So for example, in this lead source that we had just created, we can go ahead and put this in a paid category. For the particular vendor, let's pretend that it was just the New Times in this case, so we'll say this is one for the New Times. In our medium here, we're going to say paper. Now, if you ever want to add a value, you can just type it in, and that'll go ahead and add it to the drop-down. Now, when a lead source is no longer relevant, we can also set it as inactive, and this prevents future contacts from being added to the lead source accidentally by an end user. Inactive lead sources are not visible when manually selecting a lead source for a contact. This can keep our list of lead sources clean while retaining all historical data for reporting. Now, when we're looking at our expenses, it is possible that a lead source might have a fixed monthly expense. So in this case, when we go ahead and add an expense, we can create a monthly recurring expense that's going to add to the cost progressively each month until the end date. And this allows us to create a rolling ROI since the expense is dynamic over time. So let's say that we did a year's worth of ads, and it's $200 a month. So now this is added to our recurring schedule, and as these next expense dates occur, it'll add to the recent expenses. And again, we'll have a rolling ROI that'll be dynamic over time. The last thing I want to show you is how you can add a hidden lead source field to any web form or landing page and ensure that a new contact is going to be properly sourced. So I've just got a web form here. And under our field snippets, we can grab a hidden field and we can actually select the lead source. So now this has been hard-coded. So anybody that comes to this particular web form is going to be associated with this particular lead source. Now, we may also drive different traffic sources to the same web form or landing page and dynamically pass different lead sources through the URL. This way, it's easy to test different variations of a particular marketing message without having to create a unique web form or landing page for each variation. So to do this, we first need to have a hidden lead source field with an empty value. So rather than hard-code it, we're going to leave this empty. And then I'm going to open this up in a new tab here. And then we'll go ahead and publish this. So looking at this particular lead source, every lead source has its own ID. So you can see right here, this is lead source number 329. So maybe I want to create a lead source for this month's Facebook ads, this month's Twitter ads, and this month's LinkedIn ads, and they're all running to this same form here. So on this web form, if we look at the code, we'll see that there is a hidden lead source field, and there's no value in it. Well, this name right here, infield underscore lead source ID, you can pre-populate this in the actual URL itself. So we can say infield lead source ID equals 392. So if this was the lead source for Facebook ads in March, now we can drive to this same web form. But now if you look at the code, you're going to see that it has this hidden value. If you had a lead source for your Twitter ads, maybe it's 394, you would drive all those ads to the same page, but then the lead source ID would be the next one in line. In the next video, we're going to be checking for duplicate contact records.